Tesla delivery numbers are out later today. At time of recording this video, they have not yet been released. So I just want to give some thoughts ahead of time, and obviously once they're out, I will talk about them in a future episode. So I think if they come out and they are anything better than not completely awful, a lot of people will be pretty pleasantly surprised. I think the general consensus estimate is around 439.3 thousand. Now, I do agree with what Dan Ives recently said in an interview that he had on CNBC. He was basically talking about how Tesla are now entering a period of recovery, how these delivery numbers are potentially going to mark the end of a less than ideal time period for Tesla. From today and onwards, especially as we approach the 8th of the 8th, the Robotaxi event, and onwards after that, this could be a real period of growth for Tesla stock, I should say, because Tesla itself has been doing really, really well and growing rapidly. But Tesla stock, this could mark the period where we now start to see onwards and upwards movement. That is not guaranteed, but it does feel like we are coming out of a period where the environmental situation has been a little bit less than ideal. The Tesla Chinese registration numbers that I spoke about in a recent episode were really, really strong last week. They were better than they have been for a very long period of time. However, this week's numbers are they're not great, they're not awful, but they're definitely not as good as the week prior. But they're still okay. And the Tesla EV manufacturers, they've recently been announcing their deliveries for the second quarter, and they've been pretty decent, including BYD. So hopefully that means that Tesla's numbers will be also okay. But when I think about how much this matters, it's a very, very small portion of my total care, because it's just one quarter of delivery numbers. If every quarter is really, really bad, we do have things to worry about, of course. But the way I'm viewing it is we are seeing Tesla very much shift from being an EV manufacturer selling EVs to actually moving away towards SaaS margin revenues. And this is happening very, very soon. So EV deliveries are going to matter less and less and less as time goes on, and the real growth and the real money will be in things like FSD, Optimus, and so on. Talking about Optimus, I've also seen articles such as this. Tesla to showcase Optimus Gen 2 and Cybertruck in China later this week. So later this week, Tesla will attend the 2024 World Artificial Intelligence Conference in Shanghai, China, held at the Shanghai World Expo Center. The 4-day event starts on July the 4th. According to the official website, Tesla will feature the debut of its iconic model Cybertruck and also the latest generation of their humanoid robot, Optimus Generation 2. So what we could potentially be seeing is that a really, really important market like China may show a lot of interest in both the Cybertruck and Optimus. As far as I'm aware, there are several companies already in China that have unveiled their own version of a humanoid robot, but there doesn't seem to be, that much information on these robots. It doesn't really give me much of an insight into how they compare to Optimus, but I do know that Tesla have some key advantages. They have the data advantage, first and foremost. They have the lead in training the neural networks and the approach that they actually take for scalability. They also, of course, have manufacturing advantages, and something like a humanoid robot, you are going to want to eventually be producing that at such a mass scale. And I don't know how well these other companies are going to be able to actually do that compared to Tesla. I don't think that Tesla is going to take the entirety of the market share in terms of humanoid robots. In fact, Elon said himself that he expects Tesla to grab at least 10% of the market, which is going to be trillions and trillions of dollars. I think they're going to grab a lot more than 10%, but there is definitely room for other companies to have their humanoid robots as well. I do think the success of Optimus in the US market, in European markets, and in the Chinese markets as well will depend on a few factors, including its functionality. Of course, the more capabilities it has, the more it can do, the better it can perform, the more tasks it can do, the more skills it can show, the more people will want it. On top of that, we've got reliability, speaks for itself, and then we've got cost effectiveness. And this cost effectiveness, I think, is where Tesla is really going to shine, especially when they start utilizing their economies of scale. One area of Tesla that I definitely don't spend as much time as I should speaking about, and I don't think many people do, is Tesla Energy. And actually, we've recently heard about a new contract in New Zealand, and it's a pretty big one. So we have this new contract with Contact Energy, who are a leading New Zealand energy company, and they've actually teamed up with Tesla to build a 100 megawatt battery. This project is set to cost up to 163 million New Zealand dollars and is expected to be operational by the first quarter of 2026. So basically, this is a mega pack contract. Mega pack by far is the most important element of Tesla Energy, and we are very, very much seeing them scale. I've seen a few recent contracts as well, ones in the UK. I've not spoken about them, but they are popping up here and there for sure. So the whole point of this is to provide additional crucial support for New Zealand's renewable energy grid, especially during those peak winter demand months. It will eventually have the capacity to power 44,000 homes when the mega packs are discharging into the grid. So we've just spoken about that big amount of money, that 163 million New Zealand dollars, which is pretty substantial, but we've also got to think that actually, as far as I'm aware, Tesla will be responsible as well for the long-term maintenance and services. I don't know if that's included in the price or that will come at additional fees as time goes on. I'm not sure, but for sure this is showing us that Tesla's energy business is accelerating. Do let me know what you think about all of that in the comments below.